Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Haley. I'm a cashless budgeter, recent graduate, and caregiver, working on healing her relationship with finances as well as working towards financial freedom. So guys, I really did not want to make this video just because of how stressful of a situation I feel as though this has put me in. So based on my previous videos, and if you don't know, this binder is my home binder. I save for different things relating to the home. In this case, we had a home for, gosh, it's older than I am. So 20 plus years, we were living in this home. And long story short, there have been a lot of constructive, I guess at this point would be patchwork done to the house over the years. And recently we had to leave the house because there were traces of lead in the paint and some roof issues that could lead to bigger issues. So we got the windows redone, we had doors changed, we had the paint chipped off, repainted, new vinyl on the sidings, redid the roof, and all of those things. And so we were planning on doing small renovations or continuing to do small renovations while we're able to be elsewhere while all that's going on. However, that is not how it's panned out. And honestly, I can't say I'm that surprised because, like I said, the house is over 20 plus years old and there's only but so much patchwork you can do at that point. So what we didn't notice, and wouldn't have been obvious unless someone was physically under our house, was that part of our yard slanted towards our house. And us being on the East Coast, hurricane season, and random rainstorms happening throughout the year, part of the yard ran off into the drainage like it was supposed to, but one part did not. And so water ended up settling under the house, which years of that happening led to a bowing in our subfloor in part of the house to where it is now, as it was put, a couple of inches off the ground. The floor inside that part of the house and those rooms are softer. We had to move things out in order for the floor to just completely not cave in and give. So we did get a quote for, I think it was actually for the floor, to fix the subfloor and replace the flooring from 3 different companies at this point, and none of them have been below $60,000. So that's, sorry guys, I'm trying to get myself together because it's just stressful to think about, and I've been trying not to think about it. So we've basically were sitting down and weighing our options, and you could, even though it would take a while and take a loan, get the subfloor fixed, have under the house encapsulated and ventilated and all that. However, we also have to acknowledge that it is a very old home, and that due to the water sitting where it was and weakening part of the floor, there could also be termite damage that we cannot see. So getting that looked at and that inspection done, but we're erring on the side of there's more likely going to be termite damage just because of the opening that was offered that we didn't see. So with all that, we're still going to get the inspections done, but we're leaning towards the decision of having the home demolished and just starting from scratch completely. I know that we do not want to lose the property anyway because, one, it's already paid for. There's no mortgage on the house at that point. So the only thing we had to pay on was property taxes. But it's weighing the pros and cons. It's a 20 plus year old home, and that's just with the extension. The original home itself was even smaller, and was there far beyond and far before all of that. So it's, I guess it's a bittersweet type situation because rebuilding a home is no easy task or really inexpensive task either. We are balancing different options as far as going with a modular home, and just having to worry about structuring the foundation and getting yard work done so that the slant towards our house is no longer there, or filling in that space. There's the option of rebuilding a regular stick home and dealing with the cost of that. So either way, there's more than likely going to be some type of loan and or mortgage involved in all of this. I know I'm not the only one in this situation or it has to do with this situation, but I do have to reassess what I'm doing as well, as it does affect my finances, being that even if I were to go elsewhere or live elsewhere or live in an apartment, whatever, honestly, the apartment is just as expensive. Here, at least, it's just as expensive as the home payments are, for one. For two, a lot of the apartment options that exist don't necessarily have, at least within price range, are not very accessible unless you live on the first floor or the ground floor. And being that I'm still having caregiving duties, I'm not going to put my mom or anybody I'm caring for in that position to where they have to struggle to get out their own door. Like, that's not feasible and it's not going to happen. And also, even with an apartment, can't make 100% of the modifications that I think she would need in order to be able to be there and live comfortably. So with all of that rundown, we are all financially involved, but I am going to keep this binder going as I am, and just acknowledging the fact that even though I have envelopes for certain things in here, that if push comes to shove and I have to empty this envelope for something that has to do with the house, then so be it. But I'm also not trying to put myself in a financial situation that I can't get out of and or handle myself. So I have decided that anything having to do with the home, whether that be renovations or down payment for the modular home or whatever, is going to strictly come out of this envelope and or the starter emergency fund I had for home and home maintenance. I am not emptying any of my other binders. I am not dipping into any of my other savings unless I absolutely have to. And I honestly don't see a situation where I would have to. You know what? I'm going to knock on wood on that. You know what? Scratch that. I'm not even going to try it. I can dip into other envelopes. I'm not saying the money is not there, but I also have to keep my safety net intact for both myself and for my mom being caregiver. Right. So I am basically going to be just pushing as much money in here as I can while still putting towards my mandatory savings goals. In this case, that would be this binder, my emergency fund, and the taxes for the home. That reassessment is still getting processed at this time, so I don't have an update on that as far as how much it would be. But I've also come to accept that the property tax challenge I was doing to try to get prepared for next year will more than likely, a part of it will have to go into funding this year as well. That's just how the cookie crumbles, and I'm okay with that. So you'll see in my budget, more than likely, or you have seen in my budget, if you notice the other lines that are on there, I have put my lower priority savings or my savings just for me as other, or in an other category. and that other category will not have money attributed to it unless, again, I have a particular number I want to get to and or envelopes I really, really want to focus on, and have extra funds to do so. I think that would be it for this binder. In my personal savings binder, let me grab it real quick. My personal savings binder, I do have my future home envelope in here. This is going towards a future down payment of my own home, that I would own, that I would want to either buy outright or put a significant down payment on. This envelope is not going to be touched. Even though this envelope and this binder are in the same, I guess, savings bucket as far as home is concerned, this is not an emergency fund. This is dedicated money towards a particular goal of mine, and I know it's a long-term goal, but I want to keep this going as much as I can. More than likely, I will have to use smaller challenges to build up into this challenge, or I can pause the 100 envelope entirely and work on challenges, unstuff them, then stuff them into here. I haven't quite figured that part out yet. I'm still going through my options, but I know even if it's just $1, and quite honestly, this envelope gets the interest from this home account, as well as the $5 every other week. So even if I just have to stick with that for a while and not actively stuff this, that'll be perfectly fine with me, but money will always be going in here. This is a non-negotiable for me, at least. So with that being said, this binder, I'm gonna pop it open real quick. This binder has, again, these envelopes that I was working on funding for a while. I did have the initial goal of getting to 1,000 per envelope, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the ones I've gotten to 1,000 together. So that's moving. We're not moving states or anything, or counties, so moving honestly probably won't be $1,000, and it will probably be the envelope I dip into if I need some extra funds for something. But I still worked it up to 1,000 anyway. Emergency fund / buffer is a last resort option to touch. I want to at least keep $1,000 in here as much as I possibly can. And then remodeling renovation, which is the projects that we were working on. I was building up money for that as well, because I expected there to be some work done, but did not expect a $60,000 quote for a problem we didn't notice that was happening. So I'm going to keep these envelopes intact for now, not moving them. What I am going to do is I'm going to move the envelopes I have not gotten to the front, or in this front part. Put my divider here. And put the tracker here. And I'm going to keep structural needs with the money in it as is, but for right now, I think I'm going to lower the amount I want to get to per envelope to at least probably 500 per envelope, instead of 1,000, because 1,000 does take a lot. And who knows, I might have to unstuff this before I even get there with these. But the goal would be 500 per envelope for right now. Any money that I add in here from here on forward, I'm more than likely just randomize in here so that putting money in here can be a little less depressing than it feels right now. Yeah, and I'll honestly just keep structural needs going as it is. But we'll randomize the rest, or the remaining envelopes, until I can get at least 500 in them or close to them, because doing them envelope by envelope, I'm really not feeling accomplished at this point. And there are also envelopes I've created in here. Like, for example, we technically have a home project happening, but then paperwork and logistics go in with that. But also, it's mostly based on structural needs and exterior care with the yard and such. So I will need to pull money from different envelopes, different sections technically. And having money spread out to them will help me keep better track of that. So again, I'm going to keep structural needs as is, but from here on forward, I will be randomizing amongst these 4 envelopes. And interest will still continue to go to my home down payment fund, as well as the $5 automatic savings will also go into that envelope. Any other money related to home or that you see in my budget, even though it says FH for future home, it's really going into here. To have a place to build up. My goal is to have a place to build up where my mom, even though she has basically a progressive form of multiple sclerosis, so there's no cure, there's not really any getting better. We're just rolling with the punches at this point. I want her to be able to live somewhere and live comfortably and not have to worry about the financial aspect of them. Like, she's going to be I want to say not too old, because like, you're never too old necessarily, but at that point she's already done a lot and I don't want her to have to stress about it. So that's all I'm able to update at this point. Feel free to leave any questions or comments that I either didn't get to or didn't explain. There's a truck. I didn't get to or explain well. I can imagine there are some things I probably didn't explain well just because I'm mind blown, exhausted, and frustrated at the same time. But I just wanted you guys to know, in case you see the different changes happening within my budget, or you don't have to ask why I'm not putting into particular challenges. So with all that being said, I thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a blessed night, day, or evening wherever you are in the world, and hope to see you guys next time. Bye, guys.